Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nariman Hamden, and this is Driven Unscripted Success podcast. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple iTunes. We've got an awesome guest on today. We have Julio Martinez-Clark. Julio is the CEO of Bioaccess. He has been pioneering global clinical research innovation across medtech, biopharma, and radiopharmaceuticals. He is also the IAOCR ambassador for the Americas. He's a strategic advisor to leading healthcare innovators, host of Global Trial Accelerators, and he is a fast-tracking first-in-human trials worldwide. How are you, Julio?
Yeah. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you on. Where are you zooming in from?
I am zooming in from Miami, Florida. Hot and humid Miami.
Yeah, another beautiful place. I'm over in Naples, Florida. So we're both trying not to melt away with this hotness and humidity, to say the least.
Actually, today there was a heat advisory, and there was another one yesterday as well. So
Yeah,
it's really hot here.
sounds like Miami. Too funny. So why don't we kick things off with, why don't you tell us about your business right now, what you do, and what your business does?
Well, Bioaccess started in Miami, more specifically inside the University of Miami about 20 years ago. It was the work of my brother Pedro with his mentor, Dr. William O'Neill. Pedro is a Harvard-trained interventional cardiologist who worked with Dr. William O'Neill, who is considered one of the top authorities in interventional cardiology in the world. And while they were together at the University of Miami, they collaborated with many U.S. medical device startups that were developing advanced cardiovascular technologies, more specifically in the structural heart space. And they did preclinical consulting for these companies and also clinical consulting. Preclinical meaning animal testing, and then human testing, clinical. And they quickly realized that startup companies more specifically, when they are ready to embark into the first in human journey, which is a pivotal moment in the development of the innovation, they hit a wall in the United States. They are, because of the healthcare system, because of many intricacies of how the system works in the US, they have to explore options overseas. So Latin America, Australia, Eastern Europe are destinations for these exploring, meaning they seek hospitals and investigators that have the right patient population where they can validate the safety and efficacy of these innovations. And that's really the genesis of Bioaccess.
Sure. It sounds very interesting. We'll dig in a little further. So what is, let me ask you, so when you think back, are there any moments that you'd say really challenged the game for your career?
For my career, yes, of course. My career before Bioaccess was totally different. I had a totally different life. I came from the world of telecom and networking. I worked for two global companies, Nortel first, and then Lucent Technologies. Nortel was a leading Canadian telecom and networking company. And then Lucent was a US-based telecom and networking company that was a spin-off of AT&T. So at that time, I was in the world of Alcatel, Ericsson, Nokia, Lucent, Nortel. That was my world, engineering world, traveling the world, trying to set up large telecom and networking networks. We got involved with the internet, the birth of the internet and all that. So, yeah, my life took a turn when that ended around 2002, when what everybody calls the dot-com bubble bust.
Mm-hmm.
There was a huge bubble in the telecom and networking world. There was the birth of the internet, and of course, there was a lot of speculation, similar to what's happening with AI now. There was a lot of hype and speculation, and companies were being overvalued. Investors were pouring money into all these companies. So then there was a moment of reckoning where everybody understood that the reality is different. So I I faced a challenge moment in my career where I had to pivot into something else because telecom and networking wasn't really going to be the growth driver that I thought it was going to be. So I got into real estate. I started several ventures in telecom and networking, also real estate and computing, other things, until I finally got together with my brother Pedro and got involved with what is Bioaccess.
I see. I think your connection is not strong. Let me. Okay. Okay. So, how do
Okay,
you deal with taking
I can
risks?
switch to another
And
place
is
if you
there a
want.
time when you rolled the dice that it really worked out for you?
Well, yes, I think we do that quite often at Bioaccess. Um, we have to roll the dice a few times. Actually, we roll the dice quite often. This is a great question that makes me reflect because you roll the dice in the small things and also in bigger things.
Sure.
In the small things, you roll the dice every time you hire somebody, every time you hope that these individuals going to help you grow your company to the next level. Because interviewing is a challenging thing. It's risky. Is You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, in 30 minutes, it's impossible to determine the future of your relationship with that individual. So you're rolling the dice. We roll the dice when we tell a client that we can execute a trial in one specific hospital in one country because sometimes doesn't pan out. Sometimes the investigator doesn't really deliver. They don't recruit the patients, and or we get delays in the regulatory approval process, which these companies, our clients, do not like much because they're really looking for time saving and money
Sure.
saving strategies. So yeah, we roll the dice every day, and more strategically or more at a higher level, we roll the dice every time we get into a new space. For example, we
Sure.
roll the dice 20 years ago, well, 15 years ago, if you count when Bioaccess was incorporated, we rolled the dice when we bet that there was a need for our services in Latin America. But it worked out. And
Yeah.
then we rolled the dice when we decided to get into the biopharma space, which we'll see. We just rolled the dice a few months back, hoping that we get into the biopharma space as well as the medtech space. And we are rolling the dice as we speak because we're getting into the radiopharmaceutical space, which is a hot area of medical innovation. So we hope that that's going to pay off for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds exciting. It sounds like most of your dice rolls have panned out and led you to this point, which is fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, everybody hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a time things didn't pan out and how you got through them?
Well, yeah. I think we see that a lot with sites. When we pick a site, it was a very particular instance where we chose a site. And let me back up a little bit. You have to understand how innovation works. These startup companies raise millions of dollars. They're very small, 3 to 5 people, with some money in the bank, and they deposit their future on a person at a hospital, usually overseas. So you hope that that individual will deliver. And you choose that individual over other individuals because you think that he or she will deliver on his or her promises. And the promise is basically we're going to get you patients. So we're going to implant your device and we're going to carry out your study so that you can get the clinical data you need to move to the next stage of the development of your
Sure.
medical device. And there was an instance where we chose a researcher at a site in Colombia for this company that was developing this breakthrough orthopedic device. And we chose that site over many sites that we evaluated. And we were about a week away from traveling and executing the study and coordinating. You have to understand there was like 5 people involved in the coordination of these trials. Is the moment, the final moment, the pivotal moment where we're going to finally implant a device that is being in development for 3 years, and the investment on the device is probably $1 to $3 million.
Hmm.
So there's anticipation for this of the implantation. So we were about less than away from the moment of the investigator backed out of the study, that he wasn't longer interested in the study, that he wasn't going to recruit patients, that he was going to just pull out of the whole study. 20 phone calls later and meetings and everything, we had to switch strategies. We had to go to another country. We went to the Dominican Republic and we quickly activated another site, and eventually it worked out. Yeah, it was very stressful.
Oh, I'm sure. It sounds very stressful. And then, not to mention having 5 of you, getting ready to head out there and to have to deal with
Yeah,
that. But thank God it worked out for you.
yeah.
So let me ask you this, leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
Yeah, I think my leadership style is more focusing on the bigger impact that we're making with what we do. Yeah, money is important and all that. We need money to pay bills and to keep going. But focusing on revenue solely, I don't think is the right metric. So I would say my leadership style is to focus my team on the bigger impact, how we can change the lives of hundreds of thousands of patients that we can impact by bringing a trial to an emerging market. We only operate in emerging markets. We operate in Latin America, in Eastern Europe, and of course Australia. Well, Australia is not necessarily considered an emerging market, but most of our experience has been on emerging markets, emerging countries, more particularly in Latin America. I was born and raised in Colombia, and I see the poverty in these countries and the struggle people go through to receive advanced medical care. So we come in with a study and we really, really impact the local economy. We bring high paying jobs. We benefit
Sure.
the patient. We benefit the small hospital where we're executing the study. So it's a win-win for everybody. And when we see the face of a patient and their family members,
Yeah.
when we bring an innovative clinical trial with an implantable device that is going to transform their lives, is really mind-boggling. It makes you cry. And I
Oh,
think
well, sure.
when I speak with my team, I always try to focus the conversations on this is the impact that we're bringing to a country, to a hospital, to a patient. So yeah,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's life changing,
yeah,
in most cases. So when
yeah.
you're building your dream team, what's the one trait you always look for and why?
Entrepreneurial mindsets. I think entrepreneurial mindsets. Of course,
Mhm.
I can't make everybody an entrepreneur, but I think the entrepreneurial mindset is 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 really key for anybody that is on a startup. We consider ourselves a startup company. We're not a big corporation or anything. We're still a small business. We're less than 30 people team. So I want to see in my team people with hunger, that they want
Yes.
to accomplish something bigger, that they're not there just for the paycheck. That I want to see them that what I share with them because of my experience, because of my knowledge, and what I've done is going to impact their lives, and they're going to bring to the company better ways to do things. I don't want to always be the one coming up with ideas. I want them to come up with
Sure.
ideas to
Sure.
help me grow, right? So we can all grow
Sure.
together. So
Yeah, where you
yeah, that's
collaborate together. And
exactly. Yeah.
And that's what's great about having the entrepreneurial mindset is collaborating, coming up with wild ideas, but also practical ideas that you can implement and then act on them, and
Yes.
especially in your space. I mean, you're constantly doing trials and trying to figure out how how do we get this to work? How do we get this from A to Z? So
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas?
Hmm. That's challenging. That's a great question. Yes. Well, if they don't bring new ideas, they're out of in a couple months. that, I mean, it sounds harsh, but that's the way it is. I mean, people with new ideas don't bring every day, but bring me the solutions, possible solutions, and how we all can move forward. But if I see somebody who is just constantly a source of work out with that employee, with that individual,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see them succeed. To be honest with you, I want to see them succeed. I want to see them because we usually hire younger people, and I'm usually twice their age. So I want to see them succeed. I don't want them to make the same mistakes that I made because I didn't have anybody telling me
Sure.
the route, right? The road. So if
Right.
they don't get it, they have to get out of the company. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. It's just part of life. It's either sink
It's
or
part of
swim.
life.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's vamonos, move it. So totally
Yes.
understand that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why don't you share with us what's a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
Well, a day in my life is pretty simple. I am a simple guy. I don't watch TV. I don't like sports. I don't read the news. So my life is either work, meaning meetings like this with clients, or I'm a
Sure.
frequent guest on podcasts. I have my own podcast. Um, is either that or answering emails, just work stuff, or reading. I read probably 90% of my time. My weekends are just to sit down from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m., just reading and just thinking. And eventually I cook and have some fun with friends, have a few drinks. But my daily work day is about reading and thinking, because I am the CEO of the company. I'm the leader of the company, and 30 people and their families are relying on what I think, and what I think is a reflection of what I read, right?
Sure.
And what
Yeah.
I put together based on my analysis on what I think. So they really depend on me on thinking in the right direction.
Sure.
So I just stare at the window with a glass of wine and then just think, what direction should I take the company in?
You are very simple.
Very
Just give you
simple.
just give you a book, put you on the veranda and a glass of wine, and you're good to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't have a family. I don't have a wife. I'm a simple guy. I just think and work and try to move the company forward to make an impact. I really think about the families that depend on we paying salaries,
Mhm.
and the impact that we make in the lives of patients that we benefit with our trials. That's really what drives me.
Sure. Sure. So speaking of books, has there been a book, a podcast, or somebody or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
Um, yes, of course. Books, there's a lot of garbage out there.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. And you realize that after you read all the garbage.
Yes. You're like, gosh, did I just read that for an hour? And why?
Exactly. Yeah. Why? Exactly. Yeah. Why is this a New York Times bestseller? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, why?
Anyway, so to answer your question more specifically, Norman, yes, I think the best book ever in the history of humanity is A Course in Miracles. And A Course in Miracles is not well known, but if you or the audience knows about the whole food story, and there's a book that just came out, John Mackey, I think that's the name of the founder of Whole Foods, where in this book he reflects on his life story and how Whole Foods was acquired by Amazon and all that. It is really a fascinating book. But if you look at the cover of the book, there is a hidden message. There's something that very few people um, can detect. I wasn't able to. Somebody
Mhm.
showed me the book, somebody showed me the cover, and I didn't see it until somebody pointed out to me very, very specifically. And it is the cover of A Course in Miracles. So somebody like John Mackey, who is considered one of the most successful founders in modern business, um, is involved with style is now being talked about. Management style where you incorporate spirituality is a transformational management style where you look beyond the revenue metric and you look beyond, and it's really the pillar is just love and forgiveness. That's a pillar of the management style, and yeah, that's why A Course in Miracle is probably the best book ever.
That's fantastic. I'll have to look that one up. So that's wonderful. So, how do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
I have to do it daily. I am exposed to breakthrough medical innovation. I mean, companies seek our help because very few CROs, contract research organizations like us, are able to execute a clinical trial on a first in human clinical trial on a breakthrough technology. So every single day, I have to study new things. I have to read about new therapies. Now that we are in the radiopharmaceutical space, and this is a new space for us, I have to read a lot about theranostics, radiopharmaceuticals, isotopes, cyclotrons, radiation, radioactive materials for human testing, things like that. So it's been challenging, but it's something that you as a leader have to adapt, and that's one of the reasons I can't justify me watching a game, soccer game, or a basketball game for 3 hours if I
Yeah,
have so much to read and to learn to lead my team. I just
that
can't
would
picture
be,
that.
yeah, that would be tough to multitask.
Exactly. So yeah, that's how I tackle it. I mean, I just read somehow. Well, one of the tricks that I'm learning to do now with all these large language models, Naram, is the fact that you can type in, explain to me how a theranostic treatment works in simple terms that any high schooler can understand.
Yes.
This is a prompt. This is an actual prompt that I put in ChatGPT. And it gives me the explanation, like in very simple terms that
Hmm.
anybody can understand. Anybody can
Yeah.
understand. So
Yeah. AI is
that's something
wonderful.
that I'm sorry. It is wonderful. Yeah, it is really changing our lives, and it will probably be. I was just reading this morning that they're comparing AI as industrial revolution. It's just that we're probably too young to remember the industrial revolution, but if you read history, the industrial revolution was exactly a time where people were afraid of. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, there are a lot of mixed feelings about AI. There's the doomsday preppers and thinkers of,
Yes.
oh, the robots are going to take over. They're going to come. We're going to be walking and dating robots. And then there are people that
Yes.
are like, listen, it's there as a tool for you to utilize to implement into your day-to-day life or your business to make it better so you can advance,
Exactly.
and that's how I see it. I think it's brilliant. I mean, it's cut my workload down in half, which then gives
Exactly.
another project to work on to
Yeah.
advance faster, so
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
AI. I'm
Yeah.
like, if
Agree.
robots want to walk the earth and they want to hold their hands as their girlfriend, go for it. I know what's real and what's not real, and I know how to utilize it properly. So,
Yeah.
to each
Agree.
their own.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can have them as their new pet, uh, say the least.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
um, well, it sounds like things are going really well for you and your company. As you're looking towards the future, I was wondering if or how you create passive income, or if you have invested in the past.
Well,
I know you mentioned real estate.
yes, I was involved in real estate for many years. We had a successful company in Orlando, but the crisis of 2008 really destroyed everything we built.
Mm,
And
uh,
yeah, and I had to reinvent myself. So we didn't really create passive income. I think the passive income and the retirement fund is being created every day with Bioaccess and with the couple other ventures that we have with my brother Pedro. And we are not really traditional entrepreneurs in the sense that we don't have a big pension fund. We don't have a 401k plan, a big
you're
one.
smart.
We're not really big. We're not security. We're not betting on income property that we have or anything like that. We have a couple income properties in South America where we're from, but that's not really, that doesn't really count. For you to have a nice retirement life, we're betting on practice Amavita. We're betting on what we're building in Colombia. We're setting up not only in Colombia and other countries as well, but we're starting with Colombia. We're setting up a very ambitious rate. It's heavily focused on research. It's gonna alleviate some of the bottlenecks in the theranostic research industry by bringing a lot of the trials to South America, where companies can approve them faster, cheaper, and easier. So yeah, we're betting on what we're building now with Bioaccess and with Amavita.
I see. Yeah. So your investment is all in the business and growing it and continuing
Yes,
trials and
yes, yes,
yeah, and that's
exactly,
beautiful.
exactly.
That's beautiful. So as we're wrapping, oh, here's something I like to ask. Can you share a personal habit that has significantly contributed to your professional success?
Personal habit? Well, except for cooking, um, reading. And the reason I mentioned cooking is because it's an art. Every time you
Oh, that's
dominate an art, you bring people together. If you like the guitar, for example, I'm sure you're going to bring your family together, your friends together, because you play the guitar, everybody wants to listen to you. So,
sure.
same with cooking. The other day, I cook a paella for some
Mm-hmm.
friends and family, and I use a large paella pan.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple was there, and they said to each other, "Hey, we should get our own paella pan, but it should be way smaller than what Julio has." And I overheard the conversation, and I said, I don't think the paella is gonna be that good, to be honest with you. And they were like,
Sure.
why? I'm like, because if you have a smaller paella pan, it's just gonna be the two of you. It's not gonna be as fun as what
Right.
we have now, where we have 20 people enjoying a big paella pan. So a paella, like any meal, it tastes better when you share it with more and more people, right? You
Yes.
you you you
Yes.
you right? But when you're successful, you create a larger table, not a smaller table, right?
Right. Right. I mean, just have a steak.
Exactly. Yes. So anyway, the point is that I think part of my success has been that I'm very friendly to people. I like to cook. I like to bring friends over to my place. We have a nice meal. We share stories. We have a few drinks. We enjoy music, and that's it. Going out is not a thing anymore for me. I think staying
Yeah.
home and having these gatherings is more rewarding in all levels, and that's one thing. And the other thing is, as I said, I don't like sports. I don't watch TV. I don't even have a Netflix account. I read. That's what I do. I just read and try to keep up with what's going on. And what's going on is
Yeah.
really, really transformational. I think I've never seen more news in my life around AI and the impact in all the industries in our lives than anything else in my life. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and it's moving so fast.
Yes. Too
Oh,
fast. Yeah. Too fast.
I mean, lightning speed. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
new AI and another AI for this and another, AI
Exactly.
and this technology and that technology and this one integrates this one and these two become friends.
Yes. It's too
Like,
confusing.
I
You
know
have to
you're gonna
make
have to make
sense of all this.
you're gonna have to make PI for the AIs.
Yeah, exactly. AI to manage your AIs, your agents. Yeah, we all
Oh,
are going to have an agent nowadays.
yes. So, as we're wrapping up the interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works for the next 6 to 12 months? What do you guys have going on over there?
Radiopharmaceuticals and theranostics, Nerman. As I said, we're setting up something very, very exciting that is going to really transform the history of Latin America. Latin America has been behind in this space. It's probably behind 50 years or more. And it's about time that patients benefit from the radiopharmaceutical and theranostic developments in the United States that for some reason that we can discuss in another episode, it hasn't really reached patients in Latin America. So we're setting up the first world-class radiopharmaceutical and theranostic program in Colombia at a leading hospital in the region. And a cyclotron from MIT is probably the best cyclotron technology in the world. A cyclotron is the big machine to produce the radiopharmaceuticals that you need to detect tumors, in the case of oncology, detect tumors and kill tumors as well. And that's a theranostic application.
Wow, that's fascinating.
That's what we're building in Colombia. As we speak, we're in the process of signing the contract, and it's going to really make the news and make an impact. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. You know what? Your internet connection again.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how does one get a hold of you?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on today. Yeah.
That's okay. It happens.
Just Google me, Julio Martinez-Clark. Just Google me, Julio Martinez-Clark. I've written many articles. I've been in many podcasts, so you should be able to find me on Google.
Wonderful.
And LinkedIn is I'm very active on LinkedIn, so my profile is public, and just find me there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Julio. I enjoyed having you on. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Nariman, for having me here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.